What's going on, you guys? Long time no see. I'm going to start with a look back here. This was the state of the basement back in February of this year, 2022. Before we did any work basically down here. This is what the basement has looked like for the last 5 or so years since I moved the 420-gallon tank down here. And if you watched any of my previous videos, you've seen this. And there she is. This is what it looked like before. And about 12 weeks later, this is what she looks like now. We're like 90% of the way through finishing this basement. There's just a few little things to finish up, which I can walk you through in another video. But here's where the tank sits today. It's a 420-gallon reef tank that I was able to pick up used. It is built into the wall, sort of. It sticks out of the wall most of the way. There's maybe 6 inches on each side that are sort of tucked into the fish room. And I did that to give access to the sides so you can actually see down the sides of the tank. It's one of my favorite views. The coral in this tank is almost 100% just frags from stuff that came from upstairs. So there's almost no investment in coral down here. And here you can see all of these panels are removable by magnets, so I can access the entire front of the tank, which has been amazing for maintenance. The only real investment I've made down here, aside from the tank itself, which I got used and ridiculously cheap, is the fish that you see. So there is quite an assortment of fish in here. A Desjardins sailfin tang, a Sohal tang, 2 fox faces, one of them yellow, one of them magnificent, a large blue hippo tang, 3 yellow tangs, Scopus tang, a Tomini tang, a Niger triggerfish, a blue-throated triggerfish, a pair of clownfish, a handful of anthias, and assorted damsels. And for the most part, everyone gets along great. The only real aggression that I've ever seen from anybody in here is between the Sohal tang and the Desjardins sailfin tang. They're 2 of the biggest fish in the tank, and every once in a while, the Sohal tang just decides he's going to have a bad day. But for the most part, everyone has done great in here. It's a fairly large tank. It's 8 feet long, 24 inches front to back, like 30 inches high, with the height is a pain in the butt. If it could be 4 inches shorter, I wouldn't complain about it. Just reaching to the bottom, I have to get fairly wet in order to get down there. Here's my favorite fish in the tank, which is a juvenile emperor angelfish, who's easily my favorite fish in here. But everyone's doing great. Fish are fat, happy, they eat like pigs, part of why I deal with a constant phosphate issue in the system, which is a whole separate story. But overall, just could not be happier with the state of this tank. Having the basement finished, we've been coming downstairs at night watching movies, turn the lights off, and the tank just is such an incredible centerpiece down here, which was the vision from the beginning. So going back 5 years or so when I bought this tank, the vision was for it to be essentially the centerpiece to a finished basement, and here we are in the end of June 2022, and mission accomplished. You can see here I added, so we had to kind of work around the soffits and whatnot up here. I added a little feeding door. All of these are magnets, so I can just reach in, drop food in. And I'll walk you through the fish room here and just give you guys an idea of what's going on. Mostly the same with a few changes. This protein skimmer is one of the major changes. I just kind of cleaned things up significantly, added some shelves, added some organization to make my life easier. Here's my water mixing station. The protein skimmer is an absolute beast. I just replaced the pump with a Jabo DC pump from Milwaukee, and the quality of the bubbles since that change is stunning. This has now become the best protein skimmer I've owned since I had a Vertex Omega 180 years ago. I am running the bulk reef supply CO2 media. It doesn't make any difference. Sorry, bulk reef supply, I love you guys, but it does not change the pH, not one bit. Here's my RODI system. None of this filtration has changed for the most part. Everything's run by an Apex. Here's my testing. I did add a Trident, which has been a huge help. We travel a lot, and so being able to monitor calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium when we're camping and traveling has been excellent. So far, no issues with the Trident. I also added a dose, which is hidden underneath the shelf here. You can't see it. So I'm using the Trident to control the dosing. Otherwise, all of this is the same. I did, when we finished the basement, I did expand this room. So to the left-hand side of what we're looking at right now, I pushed the wall back about 4 feet. Here you can see where everything runs down. It's all run by a Jabo return pump, no issues. So I pushed that wall back there, which added some additional room. I had to rerun all of that plumbing for the 420. And just, you know, sort of organizationally being able to work in here, it's cleaner, there's more room, I know where things are. Here's a top-down look of the 420. I just turned off the gyro pump so you can get a better view. The top-down view is absolutely incredible in here. Here you can see some of the fish. Last year, probably since my last upload, I experienced a massive alkalinity spike while we were camping, and I lost basically all of my Monteporas and all of my bird's nests and a bunch of other SPS corals, both upstairs and downstairs. And so the tanks are really sort of in a bounce back mode at this point. Here you can see some of the SPS that survived, the blue-green bird's nest, some of that Montepora there. All of the LPS were fine. I didn't lose any of them, but the SPS got hammered. I'm lighting this tank with 3 Kessel A360Xs and 3 AI Hydra 26 HDs. And it's a perfect lighting solution. I love the Kessels. I had the AIs laying around, and so I included them. I don't know that I need them, but I added them because I already had them, and I didn't want to take the time to sell them. So that's an update on the tank. That's where we're at. Obviously, feel free. Comment, like, subscribe, all the things. Questions, feel free to throw them down in the comment section. I will update all the tanks, the 180, the 420, the fish room, give you a full walkthrough of the basement when I get a chance. Obviously, it's been a while. I looked back, and the last time I uploaded a video was pre-pandemic, 2019, I think. So I will try to be a little bit more regular with my uploads now. And if you've got questions, obviously, feel free to ask them in the comment section. Otherwise, talk to you guys later.